Do you ever feel like you're not truly alone? Do you ever feel like you're being watched? Awful feeling, isn't it? You can feel their eyes on you, just watching you. You aren't sure what emotions they're watching you with. It could be lust. It could be hatred. It could be fear. You're not too sure, but you do know that you don't like it. You quickly run through a mental checklist. Did I lock the door tonight? Is my alarm set? Are all the windows drawn? You answer yourself in the affirmative in all cases, and relax a little. You're in your cozy little house, safe from the outside world. Alone. But you can still feel it. The eyes pressing down on your neck, just watching you go about your business. You know you're safe. You did lock everything else, right? But then a thought enters your head. What if someone was already here? A simple answer really, that just means, instead of locking him out, you've locked him in. With you. Alone. Your heart starts to race. Your eyes look at every corner, at every little subtle movement in the corner of your eye. Is a potential stalker. You know he won't be happy if you ruin his evening. He's very apt to ruin yours if you do. But you're still not content. You check every brightly lit corner. Under your bed is proven clear. At least it does at times. And you know your closet is empty. So you breathe a sigh of relief and sit comfortably on your bed. You scold yourself for being such a child, and you wash off for the night and make yourself comfortable. Partially to mock yourself from this evening, you sleep extra light tonight. You finally convince yourself to turn off the lights, slip comfortably into your bed, and you drift quietly off to sleep. You're now safe and sound until the morning. So you sleep, mocking your phantoms with your quiet slumber. Alone. Finally, you're asleep. Such a bothersome evening this has been. So inconvenient and fruitless. Finally, you're convinced you're alone. And you are. With me. Do you know why people lock their doors? Well, of course you do, but just think about it. The fact that you have to lock your doors and windows to protect yourself, not from outside forces, but from people. You have to lock your door, or else someone can get inside. There I am, laying in bed on a hot summer night. I check the time on my alarm clock in front of me, and 3 a.m. I don't know why I suddenly woke up. I felt like I was woken up or startled awake by something. I thought nothing of it and tried to readjust myself to get back to sleep. I can't move. I can't move my arm, my head. I can't get up or move at all. And that's when it hit me. Sleep paralysis. This is a first for me. I've read my fair share of sleep paralysis horror stories online. I already knew what to expect. But I seriously wasn't in the mood to see or experience anything horrifying. I felt like I was half asleep, awake and dreaming at the same time. And that's when I hear it. Sounds coming from behind me. Like there was an old TV playing static placed right behind my head. Then there was tapping. Like there was a giant spider crawling on the walls of my room. And that's when I hear it. Movement, like footsteps or rummaging on the foot of my bed. Like there was someone there. I was getting kind of creeped out. I felt like someone was in my room. Then I feel something. I felt pressure on the mattress on the foot of my bed, as if someone just sat down or pressed their hand against the mattress. I felt it. Someone was there. I have to move. I have to get up. I feel something brush against my foot. I try to get up. I have to move my arms, my legs, turn my head. Nothing. I felt like I was strapped down to my bed, or if there was an invisible force preventing me from moving. I feel it again. I have to move. I have to get up. There's something on my bed. There's someone in my room. I managed to turn my head. My eyes started around the room. Nothing. There's nothing there. I tidy up my bed a bit. I take a deep breath and lay back down. I pull out my phone and play some ASMR or music or anything really to get my mind off it and ensuring that it doesn't happen again. I finally calm myself down and drift off to sleep. A few minutes later, I wake up, and there's someone standing in the doorway. I can't move. Something's different. It all feels too real. I gasp awake and instantly balled my eyes to the door. No one's there. It was just a dream. I get up and lock my bedroom door this time. I head back to bed and scroll through my phone, and finally get a good night's rest. I wake up the next morning, thinking about the horrifying dream and sleep paralysis I had. I walk towards the living room and see that the front door had been burst through wide open. It started as a leak. The rainy season began in early summer, and June had been no exception. When I discovered rainwater dripping from the dining room ceiling, I wasn't very surprised. Shrugging it off, I placed a tall pot beneath the leak and expected it to stop on its own. However, it just continued to rain. Before I even knew it, the pot would threaten to overflow. I dumped the water out first thing in the morning, and later again after my shift. One night after work, I began to notice water damage at the source of the leak. The white ceiling had discolored, turning into a dull shade of brown. I checked the weather and realized that it would continue to rain sporadically over the next 10 days. I began to worry about the ceiling mildewing, becoming an expensive repair, so I called the landlord. I called and called, but he wouldn't pick up. I was getting tired and decided I would just leave him a few voicemails detailing how the damage was becoming progressively worse, and went off to bed. Laying on my bed, I was drifting off to sleep. My heart sank to my stomach. I could hear movement inside the walls of my apartment. Then I realized it was probably a squirrel, a rat, or raccoon or something, seeking shelter from the rain. After all, it wasn't the first time we had pests in this building. I shrugged it off and went off to sleep. The next morning, I went to empty the pot and saw that it was about to overflow. What was weird was the water. I get that it's normal for leak water to be kinda dark, but this was a mixture of black, brown, and a weird reddish substance collecting around the rim of the pot. Not just that, but I noticed a weird pungent smell too. It was coming from the water and from the leak itself. I called my landlord again, and again, he didn't pick up. I decided to leave him a few texts this time because I had to get ready for work. With no time to lose, I emptied and rinsed the pot and left for work. When I came home after my shift, I was hit with that pungent smell again the moment I opened the door. This time it was a lot stronger, and it smelled like something was rotting. I was worried that it could have been some critter that died in the walls or something. I opened the windows in the dining room, and for the last time tried calling my landlord again. But still, no answer. This whole thing was getting real inconvenient and annoying. I couldn't call a handyman at the moment, because it was already late at night, and it was raining a lot heavier. I kept the dining room window open and decided to leave it for tomorrow morning, and went off to bed. That night, I was startled awake by a massive thump. I sprinted out of the apartment and called the police, gagging at the smell. I was soaked from the rain and sat in the police station with a coffee mug on my hands. I only knew one thing. There had been a dead body in my ceiling, and the water had saturated it so badly that it caved under the weight. So far, the body was unidentifiable due to it being soaked in the rainwater for so long. While I waited, I got a call from the landlord. Finally, I answered, and I was panicking and tried to explain the situation. I was telling him, but he didn't say anything. He wasn't saying anything. He was just breathing onto the phone. I saw a detective come over to me, and I paused to listen. I felt my heart sink to my stomach, and my blood ran cold. The body was my landlord, and apparently he went missing just a month ago. But that's not what scared me the most. If my landlord was dead, then who was on the phone? This happened about a year ago. June is right around the corner, and it's starting to rain again.